That's the grossest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know how I could ever find something worse.
The fact that and I mean, look, I have a pretty high tolerance with that stuff, but not that stuff. How is that not
haunt me?
How are those images not flagged?
I don't know. I'm so happy that they're not the images that show up as replies to my tweets.
Yeah.
Oh man. That changed my entire mood.
Good morning, or is it? Welcome to Stokastic.com MLB strategy show. Happy to have you guys with us as always. Tuesday morning, breaking down it. We only got 9 today, right? 9 games.
Yeah, 6 early, 6 at 6:40, and then 9 more later on.
Logan Gilbert against Tampa. Man, I looked at laddering Bryce Miller yesterday, and I was like, these odds just are like, they weren't great and I said, well, 10 is 750. I said, he's not getting 10. Like, there's no way. He did.
He did indeed.
Edward Cabrera was
so
really
good at home. That dude is so good at home.
Bailey Ober got destroyed.
Bailey Ober did get destroyed. The one that frustrated me the most is let me see if I can find it. I think it was early. Where's that Cubs game from yesterday? Who's the who the hell's the Cubs catcher?
Show.
Sorry, it's important.
While we wait for Josh.
Amaya for the Cubs. So I bet him to homer yesterday at like stupid odds, like 1,200 or 1,300 or something. I had no idea what happened. I didn't remember seeing the alert. I went to bed really early yesterday. Been a long weekend. Pull up on my phone, go straight to the box score. Amaya is 4 for 5 with like multiple runs scored and RBIs.
So you're thinking immediately he homered.
Well, and the Cubs scored like 18 runs or something. I was like, this feels like a homer. No, 30 fantasy points didn't homer. I was like, I thought I had it.
That's rough. I hate when that happens. Especially, you know what the worst is? You pull it up and you see if you pull up, what do you use to look at? What are you looking at?
In that one at MLB.
Like the MLB app, right? Okay. Yeah. So you'll see at bats, and then you'll see the hits, runs, RBIs. Well, no, it's runs, hits, RBIs, right?
Yeah.
You'll see like a 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs.
Yeah.
And you're like, got it. Because I'll wait. I'm not staying up for some of these West Coast games. The first thought is got it. And then you look, and it's like he has 1 single with 2 sac flies and a run, like 1 RBI single with 2 sac flies and a run scored. And you're just like, fuck. That's the trickiest. The 1 hit for 3 RBIs or something like that always feels like that's, but anyway, happy to have you guys with us. Hey, if you don't mind, take a single second, atone for your sins this wonderful morning. Hit that thumbs up or that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and guess what? Leave a comment down below. We fixed it. No thanks to our producer, Jordan, by the way. I had to get involved.
Are you surprised?
No. Jordan, what's up, dude? You could have gone in there.
Clicked one button.
And here we are. Okay, so Jordan did have a good idea yesterday. Pull a home run bet for Sean V based on a player's birthday, Spencer Torkelson, and then he hit. If that's not a sign, I don't know what else is.
I said it to you guys before the show started. It was Angels in the outfield. He's floating through space, grabbed that ball, carried that shit straight over the fence.
Yeah, he did.
We've seen it happen already. What a terrible movie. Oof.
Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah.
I don't remember it. Like I remember it, but I remember Rookie of the
Yeah.
Year better.
The cast is loaded. Danny Glover, McConaughey, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Danza, Christopher Lloyd, Adrian Brody.
What?
An Oscar movie.
That's crazy. I got to go back and watch it. I mean, I've seen it many times as a kid. It's just been so long.
We just had so many better baseball kid movies. Like no one's choosing this over like Rookie of the Year or Little Big League. Like they're a million times better.
Yeah. Rookie of the Year was a good one.
I was a Little Big League guy more so than
That's a
Rookie of
good
the
one.
Year, but
Little
I always wanted
Giants.
to be like, I want to be the GM of a team. So that kid like taking it over and like
Yeah.
running the day to day was like the coolest shit in the world to me.
Little Giants is still one of my favorites.
Fantastic. Just happens to land on the football side, so I care less.
The annexation of Puerto Rico. Icebox. That's a good movie. That's a good movie.
It is. I had no idea that they're that like, I knew Glover, Joseph
Yeah,
Gordon-Levitt.
that's crazy.
I didn't really remember anybody else.
I also don't care how chalky this is or how like, non-contrarian of a take. My favorite sports movie as a kid, hands down, it's always going to be Sandlot. Like that.
Well, yeah.
I can watch.
I mean, that like kids still watch that now.
They should. I can watch. I'm 37 years old. I watch it and almost get emotional because it's like it just brings me back to everything. Is it the whole entire movie?
Yeah,
the Jets stole home. Oh God, how good was that
movie? As long as kids can still go out and like play and shit, that movie transcends time.
Exactly. Like even remember the music on 4th of July was the fireworks are happening and everything. Just the whole they all put the dip in, the chew in for the ride.
That felt familiar.
Just one of the greatest movies ever made. Really is.
The only thing that's interesting to me, and you'll probably agree, and this isn't a good thing, but like they treated Smalls way better than he would have actually gotten treated. If that kid shows up dressed like a dork, can't play baseball, they're going to treat him like absolute shit.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the fact that that wimpy deer, I mean, the fact that he had no idea. He's like, I don't know, some lady, Baby Ruth.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth.
He's got 27 different nicknames mocking him, and he's treated like the runt of the group for a year until the new guy gets there.
You know how you can get like true unrelenting secondhand embarrassment for somebody?
Yeah.
I think the first time I ever felt that was when he picked the ball up in the outfield.
Ran it in?
And ran it in. And was like, here, sorry, here, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh. It's the worst.
They would blood. I mean, he would have just been, it would have been like, go stand in right field and we're going to call you every name in the book for the next summer.
Yeah. And then they would try to hit it to right field.
Oh my, I'd be late on everything.
I actually went and looked up where all of them are now.
Okay.
Some of them not great.
Yeah, I've seen some of not made it.
Yeah, I'll always remember too. Like Bertram got, really into the 60s, and no one ever saw him again.
Yeah,
or really into the 70s, and no one ever saw him again.
Squints was in like was he in the, not the Eminem video, but the Logic video?
Was he?
Am I right? I think so.
Squints Palladorus?
I think so.
No, that's poor. That's Porter.
Yeah, skinny nerd dude. Well.
He was actually just on Rich Eisen's podcast talking about it.
I think he had like a bit of a stretch and then came out the other side good.
Smalls actually had an acting career after that.
He's like an actual announcer or something, isn't he?
I don't know. He was in the
one of those guys like actually is involved. I think was involved in baseball after that.
He was in the submarine movie that was it like
the one where they went to Titanic?
No, that would be like U-571 or something. I can't remember what it was. Anyway.
All right, let's see. Benny the Jet. No.
One of them's like a
No.
garbage man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Squints was in the Logic video for Homicide featuring Eminem.
Okay.
Marty York is swole. He was yeah.
I saw that picture, as a matter of fact, where he's in a baseball jersey or something.
No, he's wearing like a what were like basically like an Affliction t-shirt.
Oh no! Oh God, he went the
You,
wrong
you
direction.
picture him now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Repeat opened a pizza place.
Timmy and Tommy Timmons opened a series of strip malls, and they've done real well. So. All right, let's get into some baseball. Thank you for dealing with that, Logan Gilbert. Well, I guess we were talking baseball, but Logan Gilbert, I'm not really sure how you want to or how you can get away from this. Just looking at everything, he's underpriced relative to the matchup, the park, all of that. Really, it's such a good spot. Super low total. I mean, incredibly low total for this team
Yeah.
as well today. What is it? 3.3 we have in our tools, which means that elsewhere it's probably even lower because ours tend to run a little bit high.
Yeah, I
I'm
have
seeing
3.2.
Yeah, I see 3 in some spots. So I just could he go out there and get lit up? Sure, but it's really tough to get away from Gilbert. Now there's other guys that are in the 10 to 20% range of ownership that look okay. But to me, Logan Gilbert, the ownership is very high, but he's far and away on paper the best option on the slate.
I have him 5 points ahead of everybody else.
That's crazy. And you have Jack Flaherty on this slate and some other guys as well. So that says a
Yeah.
lot.
I mean, it's a good strikeout matchup. The Rays haven't been that great. The park is exceptional. And we've learned over the past month, because you and I talk about it every single show, these pitchers in Seattle just dominate. And when they leave Seattle, they don't do the same thing. And we are in Seattle tonight. By all accounts, this seems like a bludgeoning. One of the clearest you got to play this guy plays that we've had in a while relative to the rest of the slate.
Wow. Okay. So that's a statement.
I mean, I have his implied ownership. There's 9 games. We have 18 pitchers. I have his implied ownership at 57%. The next highest is 19.
We have, is that a 40, Jordan?
I have 44 for top 2 pitcher.
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't have more, honestly, at 9,400. I thought we'd have even more, Logan Gilbert. Who do you put directly behind them? It's got to be Flaherty, I think, but Flaherty's got Baltimore. It's not a bad spot, but he hasn't been going as deep as we'd seen earlier in the season. I think you could make the argument that even, Spencer Schwallenbach is up there as well because of how well that guy has pitched. The strikeout stuff has been electric. Yeah. He's got 7+ Ks in 6 straight, 8+ and 5 of 6. Like he's getting a ton. He's missing a ton of bats, pitching deep into games. He has looked really, really good. So you can't write him off even a little bit. He's got 16% ownership. Heaney's got the White Sox, 16%. And then even Jeffrey Springs, he's mid 7K in price against Seattle. Granted, I still think after the deadline, the Seattle matchup isn't quite as good as it was. And the Tampa matchup has just gotten better and better and better. But we don't really have a huge shortage of options on today's slate.
No, we don't. We've got one at the top, and then we've got like 6 more that are pretty similar up and down, like relative to their salary structure, whether that's Flaherty, Cease, Schwellenbach, Webb, Tobias Myers, Jeffrey Springs. Like, I think those are all guys that you could pretty easily get to. But I can say this unequivocally. If you play a cash game today in DraftKings and you do not choose Logan Gilbert, stop playing cash altogether.
He's the first guy that should go into any cash lineup.
It has to be the first name you click. It is an incorrect answer to do it any other way.
And if he gets shelled and you revisit this on Twitter and say, "Hey, idiots, look what happened," you're still wrong.
Yeah, somehow you're wrong twice now.
Yeah. The 3-run total 9,400. Good strikeout stuff. Best park in baseball. Logan Gilbert, Okay, if Logan Gilbert was 10-5 today, he'd probably still be getting 25% ownership.
Wow, we have Gilbert and Flaherty the same.
I think that changes. I can't imagine that doesn't change.
I mean, the Orioles have a implied total a full run higher.
Seriously, if Gilbert was 10-5, what do you think his ownership would be or should be?
35, probably. It's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
He looks incredible. I mean, let's do it again. What his home stats this year? Let's just, for the people in the back that haven't been paying attention. This year at home, 239 WOBA allowed. People are hitting 185 against him.
294 xFIP.
Yeah, it's
28% K rate.
Yeah, 28 to 4 K to walk rate.
Yep.
Yeah. If I look at last year, more balanced. Didn't see that coming.
With a handful of Seattle pitchers this year, actually, you've seen more dramatic splits. Either way, we don't even need to spend as much. It's a pretty obvious play. I actually think the guys beneath him in ownership, maybe not in price, are more interesting. Like, because you still have to play two pitchers. I don't see us getting to a whole lot of Cole Irvin in LA. Roger Munoz against Colorado. Guy has a 32% ground ball rate with a 20% home run, the fly ball rate, and a 13% barrel rate. So that's not great.
He's the only pitcher on today's of the probable pitchers for today that doesn't have a positive WAR. He's at 20. There are 30 pitchers today across all of the games. 29 of them are 0 or higher, including Johnny Cueto. Munoz is at negative 1.3.
Not good.
I mean, we're talking about a guy with a 6.8 FIP. He's
been bad. And now he's got to go to Colorado as a fly ball pitcher that gives up a ton of power. We know, Coors Field isn't, it's not, if you're playing for homers, you'd rather be a Great American than Coors, but still, it's just that will not play very well for him there at all. Miles Michaelis has a matchup against the San Diego team that doesn't strike out. A lot of guys down there. You just can't play Garrett Crochet right now. First of all, he hasn't been great recently, and he's throwing 55, 60 pitches. Yariel Rodriguez has Boston. I'm just going up the list. There is one guy I wanted to ask you about, though. Where do you stand on a guy like Brandon Pfaadt?
I don't have him as the pitcher, so I don't anticipate playing him.
Who do you have as the pitcher?
Eduardo Rodriguez. It's Eduardo Rodriguez.
Oh, it is.
So my recommendation is to not roster Brandon Pfaadt because he's going to get a 0.
Was that changed?
If it helps, I have no interest really in Eduardo Rodriguez either. So same messaging.
Changed this morning, or I don't know.
It's all I've ever had.
All right. Well, that makes it easier.
It does. It does. He's 8,300, and you probably don't need him.
So then, what do we look to? You have a few other high-priced guys, 9K and up. Spencer Schwellenbach, Dylan Cease against St. Louis, Jack Flaherty against Baltimore. Flaherty's good, but 10K in that matchup, I don't feel awesome about that. Like I think I'd probably like Schwellenbach over all of those guys at their respective price points.
I think he's probably my second guy. It might be Logan Webb. I'm probably like 3 or 4 minutes away from finishing off my sim. But both of those guys sitting, like Webb, you just sort of always feel mildly safe with. You hope he goes 8 innings and everything's just working out for him. Because most of his starts, like if he pitches well, you're not excited about the strikeouts, but like you just feel like you're going to get 8 innings and a win when when things are going well for him, and kind of like offsets it a bit. But I think that Schwellenbach Webb duo is going to be helpful, and then Myers and Springs for like a little bit of salary savings.
the more I look at it, the more I feel like I'd probably be more comfortable ending up on Gilbert plus one of the 7K guys.
Yeah.
Like that feels like where I'd rather be. Heaney against the White Sox, Springs against Seattle. Even Myers, as you mentioned, against San Francisco doesn't look all that bad. The problem I keep running into is, all right, Schwellenbach against Minnesota. Minnesota, top 10 in ISO versus righties, 110 WRC plus, which is also top 10, and a 20.9% K rate. That is bottom 10. Baltimore with a strikeout rate against righties of 20.7, but a 186 ISO, way up there, 112 WRC plus, so also not a great matchup. And then what about St. Louis? St. Louis is the best overall matchup for any of these three guys because, you know, while they have a decent enough WRC plus, middle of the league, not a team that boasts a lot of power at all. They're bottom three or bottom four in ISO, but 19.6% K rate. So all three of these teams strike out at a pretty low clip. Logan Gilbert, the matchup for him is head and shoulders above any of these other guys. And then once you start getting into the other good matchups, it's all 7K pitchers.
Logan Gilbert's ownership in that $700 entry fee contest for today that has the 100K up top, the home run, whatever nonsense, he's going to be 75% owned.
Right? Has to be. There's just not a pitcher that's close to how good how good of a spot he is today. Yeah.
I really do think like relative to the rest of a slate this size, it's really hard to ever get this gap without having someone being like broken price. Like, oh no, we forgot to put that guy in there.
Correct. He should be more expensive than Flaherty today without question.
To me, he should be very clearly the most expensive option you can get to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Flaherty is.
Yeah.
Matt, I think that actually, now that I look at this, I would say the leverage looks nicest on a guy like Dylan Cease. I think the leverage there, we have him 20% top two pitcher, 13% ownership. The ceiling there we know is massive. Like you go back to that stretch he had, Josh, in July. Atlanta, 1 hit scoreless, 11 Ks, 37 DraftKings points. Very next start, Cleveland, not an easy matchup. 7 innings, 1 hit, 10 strikeouts, 39 fantasy points. Washington, no hitter, 9 inning, no hitter, 9 strikeouts, 50 DraftKings points. It's there. And by the way, he can do it in underwhelming matchups. So Cease to me is probably the guy that, so I'm going back on what I said. Give me clearly Logan Gilbert and then Dylan Cease number 2. Dylan Cease is my number 2 right now. I actually like him ahead of Jack Flaherty.
I'll have an answer for you imminently, but I think it's going to be Gilbert, Schwellenbach, Webb, Flaherty for me.
Yeah, I figured. I think Cease probably gets slept on here, though.
And there's a 50-50 shot that it's Brandon Pfaadt. Not that it matters.
What, pitching today?
Yeah.
Why? What are you seeing?
Just a lot of words about it on both sides. In theory, this would have been Brandon Pfaadt's start, but it's the correct Erod day. Looks like the team sent out an email about it. But the Sunday game notes had Erod listed when they originally went out. But I think they're going to flip-flop them, and it's going to end up being Pfaadt today and Erod tomorrow.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's half and half across the entire industry right now. MLB.com has it as Erod. Fangraphs has it as Pfaadt. So we're bouncing around.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you're not playing either one of them. So it doesn't matter. Unless Brandon Pfaadt is somehow 5K. I don't think it's going to matter.
It won't matter.
It's a 9.5 run total there.
Yeah, but it does appear that there's a decent chance it will be Brandon Pfaadt. So we'll see. That's what we have in the tools right now is Brandon Pfaadt. I don't think you're getting to him anyway.
Mm-mm. Agreed.
Yeah, I keep coming back to this Dylan C spot. By the way, that heat wave is coming. Like, we had perfect weather. You were just up here in PA last week. Perfect weather up here, but today 88, tomorrow 93. So just kind of out of nowhere, we're about to get hammered across the country with really hot temperatures.
Yep.
And I think so St. Louis is going to be 97 at first pitch today.
I would not be going to that game.
Yeah, 90 in the White Sox game.
I'd be treating that one like it was an Oakland game.
Seriously. Yeah, people might. I'd have zero interest in going to that.
Unless I'm in a box, there's no chance I'm getting one in the sun.
No.
I mean, like, how many beers would you have to have? Just never stop.
And that'll just make it worse once you get to a certain point.
Yeah.
Just wildly dehydrated.
Yeah. Oh my God. 97 is miserable. I mean, it's hot everywhere. 90 in Detroit, 92 in Pittsburgh, 90 in Cleveland, 93 in Cincinnati, 90 in Washington, 97 in St. Louis, 90 in Chicago.
Not super humid though in St. Louis. Makes a difference.
Yeah. Downright cold in Minnesota, 74.
Give me 100 degrees with low humidity over 85 with high humidity.
As someone who lives in the high humidity portion of that one, I agree. The problem is when we get 95 and high humidity and the heat index is 110 and it's like, well, today's an inside day.
Yeah, death. What other pitches should we be looking at? By the way, someone asked, hey, does nobody like Heaney? No, a lot of people do. I like Heaney too. He always scares me, but it doesn't
I don't ever feel like I get him right.
Me neither. But at the same time, 7,000 flat. Good luck getting away from that.
It's a good price. I just pasted my lineups in now. I just have to move one or two things around and then we can start. I can talk about what I'm actually getting to.
Well, the thing about Andrew Heaney, not only does he have a good matchup, and for what it's worth, White Sox have a slightly higher implied total than I would have originally assumed. I think it's like 4-1 or 4-2, but not sure it matters all that. It's at 4. Not sure it matters that much. Heaney has a 23.5% K rate for a 7K guy. That's really good.
Yeah.
The White Sox against lefties, really against anybody, but against lefties, 116 ISO, 73 WRC plus. That is unbelievably bad. I mean, they're not just in the cellar along with Miami at 77, but outside of those two teams, no one is below 90. So it's crazy. Also, Chicago even has a higher strikeout rate against lefties on the active roster, top 10 in baseball. There's not a single redeeming quality about this baseball team right now. 273 WOBA. You don't have to love Heaney, but you have to at least look at this and say, yeah, you know what? That's probably a pretty exploitable spot where the Rangers are minus 142 favorites on the road. The White Sox have a 4-run total, but they're terrible against lefties. At 7K, you can't ask for much more than that outside of the Rays right now.
I have my exposures. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
86% Logan Gilbert. Not surprised. 20 of Schwellenbach, 20 of Webb, 20 of Springs, 20 of Heaney, right around 20 of Flaherty. 4% Myers, Manaea, Cal Quantrill. No C's.
Dylan Cease.
No C's. I think I have him projected for like a strikeout below his strikeout prop, so I'm not shocked.
I just wonder if Dylan Cease is going to be the guy that gets totally overlooked today. Schwellenbach's been on a heater, just crushing. Gilbert's clearly the guy. There's other cheap options that make for pairing, make a really nice pairing with Logan Gilbert.
Yeah, I'm way light on the Cease strikeouts, and I think that's causing a bit of it.
I can see it. I mean, you look around these sports books, they're going to basically 6.
Yeah, I have 5 on the dot.
Like DraftKings has over 5.5 at -155.
FanDuel's 6.5 -160. So it kind of tells the story right there.
The under, you're saying. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But like the way that I have it projected based on Steamer, Mason Wynn leading off 18% K rate, Burleson hitting second 14, Arenado 16, Nootbaar 20, Brendan Donovan 14. Like if that order wiggles and you move Goldschmidt up the lineup, you move Matt Carpenter up the lineup, then I see the strikeout prop. I see me getting to that. But the way that it's set up now, the guys that are getting the most plate appearances are the guys that don't strike out all that frequently. And as we just talked about, it's not a great environment for pitching.
No, it's hot as hell.
Now, Dylan Cease's alt line for strikeouts at 8+ is 255. Got to be like super ready for that one.
Yep.
It's certainly in his arm.
He still has a, 13% swinging strike rate for his lefties, 292 xWOBA, so sub 300. 280, 276 xWOBA versus righties, 18.5% swinging strike rate. He can get it done. It's just the only reason I mentioned him is because I think he ends up being the one guy that's just vastly overlooked. People go to Gilbert, they go to Flaherty, they go to Schwellenbach, they go to the 7K guys, and then Dylan Cease just gets kind of left out of the mix. He has one of those crazy 7-inning 1-hit games with 10 Ks.
Yeah.
You're going to want him, but
I mean, 9+ is 500.
okay.
It's not that bad.
No.
20-ish, what is it? Probably like 18-ish% of the time he's going for 9 or more. Whew.
Yeah.
That'll get it done.
And we'll actually build some lineups out right now, but what do you make of going 2 7K pitchers in tournaments?
I could see it. I mean, I have 20% of Springs and Heaney. You could certainly go there. I just have no concept of, like, if you're doing that. Now, we have more of the real offenses on today's slate than we did yesterday. Like, if you're doing that, you're probably going to the Rockies or the Dodgers or a combination of the two.
Yeah, Rockies, Dodgers.
I mean, the Marlins still only have one guy north of 4,500, so they're not priced like they're in cores.
Is Berger really the only guy north of 4,500?
Yeah. Jonah Bride is 4,500. Berger is 5,500. Meanwhile, Brenton Doyle is 6K. So all of life is broken.
Yeah, 6K for Brenton.
What, like, did somebody hold the button in too long?
I don't know, but against Roger Munoz, the Rockies actually look quite nice.
They do, but we're talking about a guy with a 108 WRC plus this year. If Brenton Doyle's 6K in course, what's Aaron Judge?
8.
Right?
What's Doyle's ISO?
This year, 202. Last year, 140.
I mean, 202 is good, but it's not insane.
I think it's also pretty universally accepted that 202 isn't real either.
What, because of where he plays, you mean?
No, just that, like, he's never been that dude.
Oh, right. Sure. Wow.
I mean, I guess he's had raw power, and it's never really translated, but I don't know. That's not how, I mean, he's hitting this year 30 points ahead of his projected ISO across all of the projection systems.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of Heaney right now, which makes sense. I actually just did a run in the Sims and got 22% Dylan Cease, which I would feel great about.
Let me see where we have him projected. It's probably yeah, okay. So there's my issue here is that I just don't have Cease projected like these guys. I have Cease 3 points behind Flaherty, and obviously, like, 100 behind Logan Gilbert. We only have these guys separated by like 1.5.
Why don't we build a lineup?
Yeah, let's do it. Wow, it's 11:40 already. Man, we really talk about random stuff for long chunks of time.
Single lineup sim. Let's get into this one. Of course, all of our tools in the description and in the chat, a week, a month, however you want to play it. But this tool is brand new and it's been crushing. We do the Hall of Fame every week, and we've just had so many huge wins recently, rocking the avatar. I mentioned to Jordan, I think maybe it's the revamped Hall of Fame thing where it just makes sense for everybody to have the avatar.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely possible, right?
Sure.
Last summer we did not have this many 20, 30, 50, $100,000, even the smaller, like the 1,000, 2, 5, 10,000 wins, mini max wins. We're getting like 15 of them a week at this point.
It's kind of cool.
Very cool. Go to stokastic.com/HOF. Jordan, throw that link in too. It's in the description. Download one of those 6 beautiful new avatars, whichever one you like. Use it wherever it is you play. DraftKings, FanDuel, wherever. Finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more. It's the simplest process ever. Finish top 3 in a field of 5,000 or more. Doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, it has to be a $20 entry or 50. No, any entry. And tweet us your wins with a screenshot, maybe a nice message as well at Stokastic HOF. All the rules are in there. It's super easy. And now it's not like you win once a year and have to wait again to get a free month. You win once, your first time, you have a free month. Any Sims package you want. And the Sims package, that means every tool for that sport on the site, everything, including the single lineup Sims, literally every tool. I won't bore you with it. Win twice, get another month plus a free week of another sport, everything. Win 3 times within the calendar year, get into the gold tier, free month of Sims All Access. That's everything on the site, $550 value. And any win of 20K plus, you get the beautiful engraved ring and spinning display case to commemorate that win with your name, right? Or your username, your win amount, the date, Stokastic Hall of Fame. It's awesome. Very cool stuff. So if you're not rocking the avatar yet, no better time to do so than right now. But anyway, let's build this out and see what we can get to.
Let's do it.
I'd say we start. Well, let's just put Gilbert in.
Okay.
What do you want to go to? Go ahead.
Don't care who we choose second right now.
You mean for pitcher?
Yeah. Who are you looking at stack wise?
Well, I was going to say, do you think Gilbert Cease, I know you don't have any Cease, but I'd be curious to try it out, would work with a 5-man Miami?
Probably.
Tell me where you want to go. It doesn't matter to me.
Let's do it. Let's try the Cease piece.
All right. The Cease piece.
Yeah. You said Miami?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do it. We can get it done.
We clearly have to play Burger here.
Yeah, you would think.
Norby leading off at 3,900. This actually might not be that difficult. Maybe. We'll see. All right, so what if I go... What if I go with this one, Josh?
Go ahead.
Are you okay playing Nick Fortes at the 9-hole?
Yeah.
All right. So it's actually a 9-1-2-3-5 wraparound stack, which isn't bad. Norby, Berger, Sanchez, Stowers, and Fortes. Gives us 3,500 remaining for the final 3. What do you think about that?
I mean, so far that's a lot of additional salary that it leaves us.
It's actually doable. So where do we go? Give me a 3-man stack.
All right, so just hit me with everybody you have so I have it in front of me. So that's Fortes, Berger,
Norby. And we can do second or third on him. I don't really care, but right now I have him at second.
Norby, and then who? Sanchez?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Kyle Stowers.
Okay, so we need potentially second. We need short outfield and maybe second, maybe third.
Correct.
Okay. White Sox, Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks is interesting.
Could go what? Newman, Perdomo, McCarthy.
Would it work?
I think so. Newman, Perdomo, McCarthy. Yeah, you have 100 left over. At least worth a look. 46.3.
Wow. Not bad at all.
No, not at all. And you can probably make that look a little bit better by swapping off of Kevin Newman. Nope. That's an untrue statement. I figured there'd be more second basemen that were cheap as shit, and that wasn't true. There were only 3 guys, including him.
Yeah, yeah, matter of fact, this
Ooh, but swapping him to Sosa did get me to 51, so hurrah.
are there any cheap outfielders worth looking at?
Oh, probably. I mean, better than McCarthy?
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean?
Yeah.
I would imagine I have somebody ranked ahead of him. Let me look. All right. Outfielders, and we have 4,800. I have to assume we're going to be doing a lot better than McCarthy here. Could be wrong.
I just got a 50. I just got 56%.
Okay.
With Eugenio Suarez and Perdomo, and then I just went Ramon Laureano in the outfield at 2,900. So it's a 5-2-1.
I'm looking at a 5-2-1 right now. I have Dalton Varsho as my second best guy that would fit under this salary tier. So I'm just gonna
If
do
we
that.
know one thing here, quickly while you do this, is that you can actually pay up for 2 pitchers and get a pretty easy Miami stack in
Yeah.
cores.
Not a problem at all to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, that's
I got the 59-4.
okay. What are there any other, relatively cheap stacks that we could play? That's what I'm trying to see here. Can we go? Any cheap Colorado bats?
Not cheap. Like, they're all pretty juiced right now.
You know what you could go? What if you go Griffin Connie batting 7th for Miami instead of Kyle Stowers? Then you've got a little room to work. You're not getting Colorado with that though. That's just not happening. Right? Yeah, that's not happening.
No. All right. I have 2,400 for an outfielder. There's no way this looks good. That's pretty cheap. I'm trying to get to. I got Semien into this lineup now with that same 5-man stack that we had before. All right. Well, I'm gonna put Griffin Conine in since he's flat min for Miami.
Is that I read it as Coney. I don't even know who the guy is.
It's Jeff Conine's son.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. We'll take Stowers out of that. That
by the
leaves
way,
me
I just got
3,900.
I just got the 63% with a pretty sick lineup. I really like this lineup. You want to hear it?
Hit it. Hit me.
Gilbert, Dylan Cease, Fortes, Berger, Norby, Sanchez, Conine. Okay, that's Miami. With a 3-man Texas stack. Josh Jung, Corey Seager, and Robbie Grossman. 2-3-5.
What'd you get to?
63%.
Okay. So that's the leader in the clubhouse now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't dislike that at all, especially knowing that Crochet's not going deep into a game.
It looks good to me.
It actually fits perfectly.
Now my only goal is running you down.
I'm gonna come back to I bet you can get this number juiced through the roof with like one cheaper pit with a Gilbert Heaney or something like that. What is it? Then what are we working with? My guess is it just looks really good in the sense of you can do a lot.
I find another Braves bet.
God, Brenton Doyle at 6K is outrageous.
It really is.
And
I
then
just put him into a lineup actually. I went to a 3-man of Merrifield, Arcia, Doyle, and 36. Not that I'm surprised by that. Doyle is overpriced. Ah, Ozuna, 5-3. 38.
so we're actually building some decent lineups here. It's just a matter of kind of final touch. I don't think I can make Colorado work with this. I'm trying. Brenton Doyle is pretty prohibitive when it comes to that. Very much so, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Otani's 7K at home. What would he be at Coors?
9K. You get to pitch that day too?
Crazy.
I'm testing out a new one, a 4-4. So that's going to be Josh Bell
I just got a 79%.
with what?
It's the same 5 Miami, but Gilbert Heaney, and
Okay.
then McMahon, Tovar, and then a Dalton Varsho one-off. So 5-2-1.
I went to Springs Schwellenbach with a game stack of Diamondbacks Mets. So I'm zagging a bit.
Because right now, the stacks that look the best, Colorado
boy.
against Munoz. What's up?
I clicked run and it's the ownership on the 6%. That makes sense.
Colorado, Miami. I think Texas actually looks like a sneaky good stack here. Oh,
Yeah,
actually, they're not
I have
that
9%.
Yeah, they're not as sneaky as I thought. I thought they'd be less. I'm looking at the top stacks tool. They're getting 8%. I thought they'd be a little bit sneakier, honestly. There's a lot of teams you can look to today. What about the White Sox? As much as people hate this, what do you think about the White Sox in this spot?
I have 7% of them overall, so it's not like they're not showing up. Let's see. They are in my number 15 lineup and number 20. I'm going to take a look at number 20. So that's Gilbert Flaherty. So not saving anything from a pitching perspective. And then we get.
You don't need to. The White Sox are so cheap.
Yeah. Corey Lee, Andrew Vaughn, Ramos, Julks, Lubob. And then 2-man Rangers, Semien and Seager, one-off Nolan Jones.
That sounds good.
I'm guessing 36.7. 40.0.
Close. That's a nice lineup.
I like it. And I think I could probably do better than Nolan Jones too.
Yeah, I wonder too, what happens if you go with the White Sox where you're not going too expensive pitchers? So it's like you have a White Sox and then a 3-man expensive Rocky or something like that. Like if you went Gilbert Heaney and then 5-man White Sox, they're just so bad. It's incredible.
They really are. I went Gilbert Springs. That leaves me 7,800 for an outfielder. Feels like more than I need.
Did you have Sosa in that other one?
Mm-mm. I did not.
There's just no way this turns out nicely.
That's how I feel every time I click it. It's just like, that's going to be shit.
I'm gonna give it a whirl though and see what happens.
I'm still working on this Texas White Sox game stack, but alas, not finding what I was hoping for. Okay, so the team that I have the most of right now is the Mets, but I don't feel like digging into that because that could just be an Erod thing. The team that I have the second most of right now is actually the Giants.
Giants.
So I'm going to take a look at what I have as my number one ranked Giants stack, which is actually my sixth ranked lineup overall. Gilbert Webb. Then we get Wade. Estrada. Chapman. Conforto. Yastrzemski. Two-man Blue Jays. Kirk, who I always love having, and Varsho, who I've been saying every time I did this, and then Tovar one off. No chance this is good. Yeah, -5.
Yeah. Yep. I'm doing everything I can to get this 4-4 Rockies White Sox lineup. And I'm 200 short of what looks really nice. Just can't get there. And just not going to happen. I suppose I could do this. I could do a 4-3-1. Yeah, that could work. 4-3-1. All right.
This one's going to work out for me. I'm confident. I switched it to a 5-man Giants, 3-man Marlins with Gilbert and Webb. I think this is going to grade out well. Nope, I was wrong. We don't like the Giants apparently today.
Yeah, and that's, it's how it works. Some of these spots are just not going to look good because of that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try one more before we get out of here. Last one before we go.
Odd Chopper Live coming up next.
Gilbert Springs with a 4-4 Rockies White Sox simulation is being run right now. 84.
You copy that one right out of the regular Sims?
Man, you want to hear it? No.
Gave it the Bug Boy special.
Figure White Sox would just be the team to get to if you're trying to get a little different in those. Gilbert Springs, Corey Lee, Andrew Vaughn, Brendan Rodgers, Ryan McMahon, Ezekiel Tovar, Luis Robert, Corey Jolks, Charlie Blackman. 84%.
Well, you beat me today.
Good way to end the show. Appreciate you guys watching. Stick around. Live before lock later tonight. Josh has got Odd Shopper Live coming up right now. Come hang out. Find it on the Odd Shopper YouTube. Find it on X. We appreciate you guys being with us. Hit that thumbs up before. Did I just say that? Maybe I did. I don't remember. But what are we at? We're at 73. Oh, and comments were turned back on. For now, at least. Anyway, thanks, guys. We'll see you back here for the next one. Peace.
Peace.